This is Late Night Health. This is the radio show that cares about the most important part of your life, your health. During the next hour, the insane Daryl Wayne and I are going to take a look at a number of health issues that really touch each and every one of us. We're going to end our show today with Robert Clancy, and he's going to talk about being fearless. And right now, with the coronavirus and all of the information that we're getting about this pandemic, we need to be fearless. We need to be cautious, but we don't need to be afraid. We'll find out about that in about an hour from now. We'll also talk about a woman who lived in a tent for around 10 years. She's written some poetry, but she's all about healing the earth and keeping trees in our lives, because if you hang out with trees, did you know that trees can help make you healthy? Yep, they lower blood pressure. They do all kinds of different things, and we'll find out more about that. We're going to start by going to the Chicago, Illinois area, one of my favorite cities in the world. We're going to spend some time with Wendy K. Benson and Beth A. Myers, and they have written a book called The Confident Patient: Successfully Navigate Your Healthcare Journey. They also have a company called 2x2 Health. It's a private health concierge based in Chicago. Wendy and Beth, welcome to Late Night Health.
We're so thrilled to be here. Thank you.
When you go to a typical doctor's appointment today in the 21st century, and it doesn't matter if it's a chiropractor, a medical doctor of any kind, a healthcare practitioner, you usually don't get any time with that doctor for, one, him to know you, and vice versa, for you to know them. Is this a big fault in our healthcare system right now?
Yeah, this is Beth. Unfortunately, it is unfortunate that that's exactly what's happening. The typical doctor's appointment is about 15 minutes long. So you really need to be prepared when you go to a physician's appointment. Kind of like going to a business meeting. You need to sit down the night before and think about the questions and what your agenda is to make sure that all your questions are answered during that 15-minute period.
15 minutes. Wow. I have to move to Chicago. That's twice the time that we get here in Southern California. Having that list of questions is good, but like doing an interview, I have a list of questions, but I also try to listen to what you two are saying, for example, and develop other questions. In a short period of time, you may not have that ability to do that with the doctor. He says, you have high blood pressure. You have to take this medicine. Wait, doc, I don't want to take medicine. I want to do it naturally. That's just one thing that came off the top of my head. You really don't have time to negotiate with your doctor, or do you?
Yeah, well, that's exactly why this company was started. 2x2 Health stands for 2 sets of eyes and 2 sets of ears in all of your doctor's appointments. So when your physician is talking about this, you need to have someone else who's kind of taking notes and thinking about questions that you might not be thinking of. So it's always good to have someone with you in those doctor's appointments.
Got it. And having the two of you, because you've both worked in the healthcare field for at least a few years, both of you, being the CEO of your company and the chief operating officer of the company, do you have trained people who go with patients to their doctor's appointments, or do you train, say, a spouse or a family member to go?
Actually, both. So 2x2 Health is a team of experienced professionals that really help fill in the gaps that can sometimes occur in healthcare. And we do that through recovery support, clinical companionship, and care coordination. And sometimes that is one of our professionals doing that along with the patients themselves, and sometimes it's helping to coach our family members and their support system so that they can be a big part, an active partner in that process as well.
How do doctors react to having a professional? Say, Wendy, you go with me to my doctor and you say, hey, Mark doesn't want to take any drugs at all. He wants to do something naturally.
Our experience has been extremely positive. That is something that we thought about when ramping up the company. But really, we're an extension of the medical professionals. So it has been, we really partner with them and collaborate with them. And I think for the physicians to know what the patient's wishes are in advance, that's really helpful. We can talk through it instead of maybe the patient saying, I don't feel comfortable taking that medication, and maybe just not taking it instead of having that conversation and figuring out what works best for each individual person.
Because I have a big mouth, my wife a couple of years ago asked me not to say anything to physicians. Her mother had had a heart attack. We were at a hospital, and the doctor was releasing her, telling her she would go home the next day. She was 90 years old at the time, 89 years old at the time, and I had many questions. One, why would you tell a woman you've had 3 or 4 heart attacks this week? We can tell from tests, but we're going to release you first thing tomorrow morning. You'll be fine. I had a question. Why? What are you guys thinking? And of course, after they released her, 4 hours later, she was readmitted to the hospital and stayed over a week. I asked the doctors not to come back into that room. They were not happy with me, but I told them I would have their thumbs surgically removed if they did come back into the room.
Hey, I tell you, you're really hitting the nail on the head with the planning for the after. That's such a critically important time. And I think that, talking through the various members of the medical team in advance, because it's really important to have an environment where it's going to be safe, where someone can recover, and really make sure that all those pieces are thought about and planned for in advance. Otherwise, it can be a real challenging situation for the patients and their family members.
And I really think that healthcare is a multidisciplinary team. And so maybe in a situation like that, maybe from the physician's standpoint, he was thinking that they were okay. But sometimes maybe pulling the case manager or a nurse and just say, listen, guys, I'm not comfortable with this because of X, Y, and Z, and we really haven't fixed anything yet. Like, you know what I mean? So
absolutely,
maybe pull some other team members involved.
And this was an older, my mother-in-law was a senior patient. I want to talk about, pediatric care too, especially first-time parents. The kid goes hachoo, and we have to go to the doctor. Maybe they need surgery. People react, especially when it's their first child. The second kid, not so much. At least that was my experience with our kids. First kid, we were over the top. Second kid, he could do whatever he wanted, lick the floor, it didn't matter. But
I'm right with you. I have those same 2 children.
Got it. It just, you get used to it. The first one we had to sterilize. We did, just about infrared sterilization of hands before you let a family member or friend hold your child. The second one, you're in the mud, you're playing with peat moss, it's okay. We don't care.
Yeah. And that's kind of what we've realized is sometimes we're just reassurance for the family. Someone to bounce an idea off of. Sometimes they call us and they say, hey, I have a fever over 90, 99. Well, the doctor's instructions say you don't need to call until it's 100.5. So sometimes we just reiterate, and coming from a profession that is well trusted, sometimes that's all that patients really need to hear.
And, I just have to mention one other thing, because I do this a lot. I don't believe that the hospitalist category of medicine should be allowed, because their job is to get a patient out of a hospital quickly. Statistically, if you don't have your own doctor working with you in a hospital, you die. There's a greater chance for you to die. It is amazing to me. The confident patient, we're talking about successfully navigating your healthcare journey. When we come back, I want to talk about the coronavirus with Wendy and Beth. And the reason I do is because a lot of people are going to say, gee, I have this problem. What do I do? Hey, if you want to listen to Late Night Health at any time, you can go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. You can find us at Spreaker, and you can even find us at latenighthealth.com. That's latenighthealth.com. All right, Wendy, Beth, Daryl, and I return as we continue. Don't you dare go away. Lots of great information coming up. Recently, I met Jacqueline from Bright here in Los Angeles. She gave me a hearing exam and then showed me how to hear again with the new Signia Pure Series hearing aids, and she can give you your life back too. I hear birds chirping, birds cooing, and even my wife. They easily connect to my smartphone. The Signia hearing aids are amazing, and with the charge and go, I don't have to fiddle with batteries and hear all day long. Not hearing is frustrating for you and your family. I know you don't have a problem, but trust me, call Bright Here now for a free hearing exam, a $125 value, yours free, just for making an appointment now. There are offices throughout the Los Angeles area. Call Bright Here now at 323-424-7100. That's 323-424-7100 for a free hearing exam. There's no obligation. Call now, 323-424-7100, or visit them on the web at brighthere.com. Late Night Health is proud of our partnership with the EBC, the Evolutionary Business Council. Check them out at ebcouncil.com.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Alyn. The show continues in a moment. If you're listening to Late Night Health right now, you're part of the growing target of baby boomers we're serving. Hi, I'm Daryl Wayne, producer of Late Night Health, inviting you to join the Late Night Health family. If you have any business targeting the growing boomer market, Late Night Health is the ideal advertising vehicle for you. From vitamins to insurance, alternative health to Western-style medicine, Late Night Health caters to the growing population of those over 40 years old. This vibrant demographic has expendable income to fight aging, purchase travel, take care of aging parents, or just have fun. Find out about the advertising opportunities with Late Night Health. Call us at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308, or email us at info@latenighthealth.com. That's info@latenighthealth.com. Join Late Night Health as we empower people to take charge of their own health care. Call now at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308.
Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. And in the news right now, the coronavirus has taken over everything. Restaurants have shut down. Sporting events and theater events and musical events are stopped. I was at a Starbucks early this morning. Yes, occasionally I do go to Starbucks. And it was only grab and go. The world has come to a screeching halt. Our guests, Wendy Benson and Beth Myers, have written a book called The Confident Patient. We've all heard what to do. Wash your hands, stay away from people, stay in your house. What I'm really curious about is if you come down with some of the symptoms, respiratory problems, breathing issues, high temperature, not feeling really good, should you go to your doctor? And how do you tell them, I really need to come in and see you?
So this is Beth. So my comment would be, if you're having trouble breathing, do not go to the doctor. There's nothing they can do for you in the doctor's office. They are going to recommend that you go to either call 911 or go to your nearest emergency room. So if there's any discussion, any thought that you're having shortness of breath, I would bypass the physician's office right away.
Good point. And get checked out. Do you know if there's testing available throughout the country to see if you have the coronavirus?
That is a problem that we're seeing right now, is there are not enough testing. Even though you check most of the boxes, If you're not checking all of them, like, did you just recently travel, or have you been in contact with someone with the coronavirus? A lot of people are not able to get tested, which is why I think we're going to see a spike in numbers pretty soon, because once the tests are available and people are getting tested, our numbers are going to go much higher.
I know that in China, the numbers seem to be declining already. It's been about 3 months, and Apple opened up all their stores. They've been closed for a while. Apple recently opened up all 41 stores in China, indicating that the problem is lessening. Do you think this is going to be a long-term thing, or do you think it will blow itself out? Please, God.
I think that any news like that is certainly encouraging, and because these other countries, hit this curve earlier than we have, there's a lot that we're going to be learning from all the countries that have experienced, all of these difficulties before we have.
Do you think that the U.S. reacted right on time or too slow in creating an emergency and locking us down, so to speak?
There's been a lot of conversations about this, and I think that each state, at the various levels of the governors, the various levels of the CDC, I think that, hopefully people are just doing their best. I don't know. It certainly seems like this is a situation that none of us have ever been in before. I think that this is going to teach us a lot of lessons about how to have a coordinated approach where we can be prepared.
And we're not prepared, are we?
Obviously there hasn't been the testing capabilities that would have given us a lot more information sooner.
But we've had other flus.
I mean, with the the name being Corona 19. I mean, this is a new disease. It's not like it's been around for years, and it's hard to get everyone together on the same page. And who would have thought? This is a really difficult situation.
But we've had the swine flu, the bird flu, the flu. Last year, 34,000 people died from the flu, and that was just the regular flu. The year before that was over 60,000 people passing away, according to CDC statistics. We seem to be controlling this and don't have those numbers, thank God, yet. And I'm right. Really hopeful that we won't get anywhere near that, because we have basically shut down. I mean, going to the market.
I mean, it is impressive when you look to see, this is a horrible epidemic that we're having, or pandemic, and our numbers are going up, but we're so lucky they're not where those numbers you just talked about are. And because we locked down, I think it was the right thing to do to stop the spread.
Have you two guys left your homes recently?
Since I returned from Colorado on Saturday, I had to go to the grocery store, but besides that, we have been at home ever since.
Got it.
Yeah, my children are being homeschooled, as are all of us in Chicago, and both my husband and I are working from home as well.
Got it. Yeah, I just got an email from somebody talking about homeschooling their kids. They have a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. They've been doing it for one day, and they think that teachers should now be paid billions of dollars because of it's
right. And I concur.
It's
well, I also think about all the teachers who are not only trying to send out the information electronically to many of their students, but then also trying to homeschool their own children. So they're working double duty right now, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, there's a
reason why I'm a nurse and not a teacher.
Yeah, exactly. But you didn't you teach other nurses?
Yes, on the floor, as a charge nurse or a senior nurse, we had other nurses, but never at the primary school level that my children are.
Got it. Yeah, I cannot imagine doing it. I wouldn't have the patience, I don't think. This is Late Night Health. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Darrell Wayne. You can listen to us at latenighthealth.com and wherever fine podcasts are found. We are there. iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and Apple, Google, and many, many more. Our guests, Wendy Benson and and Beth, I always forget your name, Beth Myers. They've written a book called The Confident Patient, and they run a business, the 2x2 private health concierge in the Chicago area. You can find out more by going to 2x2health.com. That's 2x2health.com. What can people do to communicate better with their doctors? And by the way, I'm going to keep in touch with you because I've been writing some books, and one of the books I want to write is called Hey Doc, You're Fired. Because when doctors don't listen to a patient, I think that they should be fired, period. Any comment on that?
You know, we interact with, physicians and medical teams, and we interviewed a number of people when writing this book. And I think that over and over again, what we heard from the medical community is that it's okay to ask for a second opinion, and it's okay to make a change. If something's not working well in the relationship, whether it's a communication difference, whether it's a expectation difference, it is okay to make a different choice, which is providing the medical care and support for yourself or your loved one.
Recently, I was talking to a friend, and she had had whatever condition, I don't remember, but when she said to her doctor, I saw something on the internet about this, and the doctor responded, did you go and get a degree in medicine on the internet? That's ridiculous. I went to a real medical school. Now, personally, I told her I would have told him to go to hell, and I would have fired him on the spot. Am I right or wrong?
So I would say our approach is somewhere in between those two. I would say that for us, I know when people talk about doing their own research, like a lot of people are wired that way, and it is important for us to educate ourselves. And it's really important that we have information. I think oftentimes if they're peer-reviewed and reputable sources, it's a little bit more comforting because even though it's really important to educate themselves, there are a lot of companies out there that are not reputable and not
right, and you have to make decisions. If something says take a chicken and swing it over your head and do something crazy, yeah, I get that. But there are many ways of approaching it. Listen, I appreciate this. Maybe we can do this again sometime soon. The Confident Patient, Successfully Navigate Your Healthcare Journey by Wendy Benson and Elizabeth Myers. And you can find out more about them by going to 2x2health.com. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. We return as Late Night Health continues. Don't go away.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Alyn. The show continues in a moment. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Words are a critical aspect of success. How you get your point across is a crucial part of what makes anything sell. So do it right and hire a writer. Whether it's articles, blog posts, technical writings, website content, product descriptions, or ghostwriting anything from a novel to a nonfiction book about your navel, contact Servet Hassan. If you want it to sell, write it right. Email Servet at servet@servethassan.com.
The latest from the greatest, the best in new music by classic rockers, with your host, the insane Daryl Wayne.
This is Alice Cooper, and if Daryl Wayne is insane, what does that make me? Criminally insane. Stick around to find out.
Many of the artist interviews for the latest from the greatest have been captured on audiobook. There is a Volume 1 and Volume 2. Great information and conversations with people in the industry and people surrounded by the industry, and of course the rock stars themselves.
I'm the Reverend Al Green, and you're listening to the insane Daryl Wayne. And I said Wayne Insane.
You can find it on Amazon or Blackstone Audio. Search for the latest from the greatest from Daryl Wayne, DARRELLWAYNE.
Hello, this is Weird Al Yankovic, and you're listening to the insane Daryl Wayne, aren't you?